awesome. I think he's one of the best. Like when I'm having a tough day, things haven't gone to plan, I listen to him in the car. I listen to him before I start my day. Sometimes if I'm lazy going to the gym and I know I'm not going to work out, I listen to this man. He's truly he's great. His story is he didn't get his GED till he was in his 20s. He didn't have the best, like his parents were there, mum and dad weren't there. At one point he was homeless, true, he was homeless, and he did eat out of trash cans. And right now when he gives a motivational speech, this man can ask for $100, $200, $300,000. That's one guy. Guys, you are really young and you have all your lives ahead of you. There's so much you can do. One thing I want to share with you is I grew up in England. I didn't grow up in this country, but this country is truly amazing. You hear about more success stories. Some of the biggest companies in the world are in America, and they all started here. And the reason for that is there is nothing you can do. For example, who knows Instagram here? Anybody use Instagram? Okay, everybody uses Instagram. Does anybody know the story of Instagram? Okay. It was started by a guy called Brian Acton. He used to work at Yahoo. And one day he went to go for a job at Facebook. He thought Facebook would give him a job. So he went to Facebook and Facebook said, "You're not good enough to work for us." So you know what he did? He started Instagram. Instagram became a massive company. And then he went back to Facebook and Facebook said, "Can we buy your company?" You know how much money they gave him? $19 billion. So what's a better payday than that? They said no, he didn't give up. He said, whatever, I'm just going to go on, do what I have to. And he sold the company for $19 billion. There are so many stories. Steve Jobs. Do you guys know Steve Jobs was fired from his original company? Yeah. What did he end up doing? He didn't quit, he went back, and in the end they asked him to come back to Apple and said, "Can you please help us build this company?" And look at Apple today. I guarantee half of you guys in here have an Apple phone. Yeah, probably more than that. I work in finance. That's what I do. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, "What's finance?" You know, it may sound boring. Some of you actually came to our office, and I recognize a couple of faces came to our office. In finance, there's many things you can do. The first thing is you can work with the market. Now, for example, you guys all know Amazon, Google, Netflix, Facebook. So what we do as brokers is we buy and sell those companies. So we have clients just like you guys, and they will come to us and ask us, "What's a good investment? Where can I put my money so my money grows in value?" So that's the job of a stockbroker. Okay, so what you'll do is you buy and sell different companies. There's also something called a financial analyst. I remember somebody said they want to be a financial analyst in here. Who was that? All right, my man over there says he wants to be a financial analyst. Do you guys know what a financial analyst is? Okay, all right. Financial analyst is kind of, dude?
A financial analyst analyzes finance, how people would use their money, how the stock market, how the stock market is doing.
Yep, that's true. That's a good explanation. Okay, a financial analyst, guys, very simply what he does is he works with numbers. There's many different ways you can work. So for example, if you guys came to me and said, Uber, everybody know what Uber is? Okay, let's say if you guys said, "I want to invest in Uber," and I want you to go find out if Uber is a good investment or a bad investment. So all a financial analyst will do is he will look at all the things about Uber. He will see who Uber's competition is. So we all know who that is, right? It's Lyft. He will go out there and see how much money Uber is making or losing. All right. So a financial analyst, very simply, what he does is he's like an investigator, goes into a company and figures out what a company does. If you guys want to be financial analysts, the things you've got to study are things like math. A lot of people who become financial analysts have very good math background. But within finance, there's a lot of, sorry, go ahead. Do you have a question? No? All right. There's a lot of different things you can do. So when you go to the bank, for example, if you want to get a loan to buy a house, that's called a mortgage broker. That's something also within finance. So there's many things you guys can do in finance. If you guys have questions, please. Anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
When you said you have to be good at math, but you said only most of them. Are some of them really bad at math?
Yes, some people are really bad at math, that's true. But it doesn't stop you from doing it. It's like anything, you just have to work hard at it and in time things will come through. But usually people who do go into financial, I want to be honest and real with you here. I'm going to lie to you and say, it's okay. But if you're planning to do a career, if you're going to go into any career, if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or go into finance, there's certain things you have to be good at. If you're at school and you want to go into finance, math is something they look at strongly. It's something you have to make an effort to be good at. If you're going to become a doctor, you have to be good at science. If you're going to be going into law, you're obviously going to be good at written skills and speaking skills. So now is when you guys do that. And I know some of you guys are still young and you're like, I have no idea what I want to do. But it's always good to have an idea, like, I want to do this when I get older. There's nothing you guys can't do, trust me. There's nothing, none of us, we can do anything we set our minds to it. Go.
If you want to be an animal doctor, what would they strongly look at?
To be an animal doctor?
A vet.
A vet. Dude, that would be a vet. I guess that would be science, right? I wasn't good at science, I was horrible. Here's what I did. That's why I went in finance. Huh? To be a science and math, yeah, I guess to go to med school, right? Science and math are the two things you would need the most. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
What type of degrees do you have?
Well, most analysts will usually have a math background, but within finance, the nice thing about finance usually is you can have pretty much any degree. Like you'll meet a lot of people who got into finance, they have liberal arts degrees, they have science degrees. They're not necessarily looking at what degree you have, because when you start the job, they'll give you on-the-job training. So for example, if you went into accounting and you want to be an accountant, a lot of companies, when you join them, they'll let you come with a non-accounting background, and then you do your CPA, for example. It doesn't really make a difference. So if you have a general business degree, you're in good shape. Yes?
What made you choose to be a
I became a broker. I grew up in England, and I watched a lot of 80s movies in America. I'd watched like Friends and stuff like that. So when I grew up, I said I really wanted to go to America. So I applied to like a ton of companies, and I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So there's one company in New York who said they were looking for stockbrokers, and this was back in just before 2000. So I sent my resume to all these companies, and then there was this one company in New York said, yeah, we're hiring, can you come and see us? So I saved all my money. I didn't have much money at the time. Got myself a plane ticket, came to New York for an interview, and I didn't know what a stockbroker did. All I did was I went into a room and there was like 100 people like shouting and screaming on a telephone, and it looked like just chaos. And I was like, yeah, I want to do this. So and since then, that's all I've done. One thing about the stock markets, and the reason I talk about motivational videos, is in our industry, things never go to plan. So even though you may work really hard and do everything right, you may buy an investment which doesn't work out, and things happen in the world. So for example, I was in New York when 9/11 happened, the terrorist attacks. I was actually working in New York, and we didn't know that's going to happen. Nobody has an idea, and all of a sudden you're working and something like this happens. When events like that happen, it affects the economy, it affects the prices of stocks, and investments go down in value. So you may have clients who bought those investments, and all of a sudden they're very angry because the value's gone down, and you're like, oh my God. So that's why we do a lot of this motivational stuff. Go ahead. Well, no, I wasn't in England. I was in New York. I was in Midtown at the time it happened. Sir. I can pay my bills. I can pay my bills.
And he has a lovely car.
Any other questions, guys? Did any of you guys watch a Will Smith movie by the name of In Pursuit of Happiness? Okay. You saw it. How many people saw it? If you haven't seen that movie, you guys have to watch it. Well, it's a story of a gentleman by the name of Chris Gardner, who's an African-American stockbroker. He, at one point, he had a child, he had a wife. His wife left him, and he was left with his son. And he was thrown out on the streets. He ended up living in homeless shelters. He had no money, and I think it was Morgan Stanley he ended up working for. And he ended up being one of the best stockbrokers in the business. He was a man who was homeless. He had a child. I think his son was 4 or 5 at the time. And he ended up being one of the best stockbrokers in finance. If you guys have not seen that movie, please watch it. I think it's a really
Why did
great
his wife
movie.
move
Huh?
out? Why did his wife move out?
Why did his wife move out? No, you could ask him. Anything else, guys?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay. You're at a certain age and a certain success. What are your aspirations, if any, for more success or for more fulfillment?
I genuinely enjoy what I do. I really enjoy it. I work with a lot of young people. Like most people, when they start in finance, start at a very young age. So what happens is they finish university or college and they go straight into finance. So I have the opportunity of working with a lot of young people, and the most fulfilling thing to me is to see them become successful, because we start work at 7:30. I don't get home till 9:30 at night. I have a daughter and a wife. They don't see me much. But the most satisfying thing is to see people work that hard and be successful, because a lot of times you can work very, very hard and not get the success you expected. So to see someone achieve that success, to me, is the most rewarding thing. Yes, ma'am.
I heard that the grown-ups have lots of regrets. What would be two of your regrets? Like you wish you had done?
Biggest regrets? I wished I came to America earlier. That would be probably my biggest thing, because I came here when I was 24 when I came to this country. And I've known people who managed to get into this industry right after college when they were 21, 22. I would like to do that. Other regrets, I've done things which I think I should have done differently, and there were people who told me you should do it a certain way. And when you're young, you think you know everything, and I was one of those people. And when you get older, you learn to, when people have experience, respect. If someone tells you how to do something and they've been doing something for a very long time, be it a teacher, if you play sport, a coach, and if they tell you to do something, no matter how good you are, you've got to respect the fact that they've done it longer than you and they have knowledge. And sometimes I may not listen to those people. Sorry.
You said that you wish you came here earlier, so how did the opportunities differ between England and here?
The difference is the stock market and markets. Wall Street, America has one of the biggest stock markets in the world. The biggest companies in the world are listed in America. And even companies which are listed in other exchanges in other countries still have listing over here. So we're such a big country, we're huge, America, we're massive. And there's so much opportunity here. And I think, I'm an immigrant, so being an immigrant, because I say that to a lot of people I work with, I say, listen, you guys have no idea my parents are from Pakistan, that's where I'm from. And I've been to Pakistan, we're a war-torn country. And when you go there, you see what people have to go through. And people come here, we complain because we have to stand in line at Walmart, go to Starbucks, didn't make my coffee right. There's so much, you guys have no idea. You're so blessed to live in this country. You're lucky that programs like this exist. There's people in other countries, children. I work with a foundation, and we do a lot of work in the Dominican Republic. And what we do is, it's called Kicks for Kids. And what we do is we give sneakers to kids. And we go to certain countries where the kids don't even have shoes. Like, we're wearing Durants and Jordans and all this stuff, and we're like, wow. And these kids don't even have shoes. So, guys, you're lucky with this program. You guys get to come on a Saturday. You're taught. You have people like Kiara. They're here to help you. Where else are you going to get that? So whenever you're like sitting there saying, yeah, I've got to get up at 6 and catch a bus or do this, trust me, there's no better place in the world than to be here. And I think Penelope is also from England. And this is a great, great country. It truly is.